Alright, and we are live. Surprise Monday stream, everybody. Not that I expect anyone to show up, but, whatever. Now, I'm probably going to put this on YouTube after the fact, so I'm going to start, before we get in here, talking about some of the mods I use and how they change the balance of the game. So, broadly speaking, and this is broadly speaking, there's more nuance than I'm doing, and this is an oversimplification. I put I put countries into three categories in this game: economy countries, gem countries, and blood countries. Just broadly speaking. I say economy because some of them are more gold intensive, some of them are resource intensive. The perfect example of a economy nation is Middle Age Ulm. I mean, you've got, heavy resource costs, decent gold costs on a lot of things. Um, but because of that, and because it's so expensive, but your units are some of the best in the game. You don't need summons or heavy mage support. You get your units, and you can expect your units to carry you for the whole game. Um, like your unit line will carry you. If you get some summons, you have good forging, so you can thug out your black lords. Not that you need to, because full plate of, yeah, that's right. Your guys have black steel already made into them. You don't need basic forging. You have it, and you have a lot of it. Um, and you also have extra resource income. But because a nation like this, an economy nation, scales are super important for you. And your magic doesn't matter as much. Like, I'll even go as far as the drain scale. You actually want that because Ulm has, lower than average magic resistance. Average is 10. And so if you take drain scales, so long as it's your dominion, drain scales give you extra magic resistance. So that actually helps you negate that at the cost of research points. Unless, and that's the important thing here, because both the regular master smiths and the priest smiths have it. Your black priests don't, but you're not really using them for that. Have mundane researcher. That means they don't lose points in a drain scale, so your research isn't affected by it. And these are your main researchers. You want a lot of these everywhere anyway, because of the resource and forging bonuses. They also have the paths necessary for firebrands, which are some of the best thug weapons in the game. Them and frost brands, but that's neither here nor there. So, for you, an economy is far more important than gems. You get some gems. You actually get a good amount of earth gems to start with, so you can make gear. Again, not that you need to, because your military commanders and all of your good infantry already start with magic gear. You can't gear infantry anyway, but it's the principle of the thing. Like, everything already has, like, if you go that way. These ones are discount, but, like, you go for that full armor, they already have a black plate tower shield, a black plate helmet, and black plate plate mail, full set, already equipped. So they don't need to worry about that gear, and you can spend it on things like iron faces when you get there, because these do have a chance of being Earth 3. But you have the Earth gems to do stuff like that. You might want to send a few out, but magic is not your main focus for site searching. Uh, you don't care. Like, it's nice and it lets you do better things, but your unit line and making sure you can be churning out your units is far more important for a nation like Ulm. On the flip side, you have things like Airmore, which is, again, there's no unit line, and everything is gems and free spawn. the reason gems are included there, not just free spawn, is because, yes, they're undead, they don't need supplies, they can enter the water, blah blah blah, they don't recruit, summons, and or reanimates undead. The Dominion kills pop and reanimates the dead. The quality of that free spawn is dependent on if you have forts or not, and then temples increase the amount. However, all of your commanders, so you don't have any commanders on here, so all of the stuff you do is dependent on, we go to the Conjuration School, these right here. So all of your summons are, like, all of your commanders are death gem dependent. And you get a lot of death gems as Airmore. That's something that should be noted again. You also start with max death scales, because before that was a free 120 points for every Airmore nation. They fixed that. But yeah, your starting spot gives you 9 gems default, which actually makes your starting death gem income 10, because I don't think it says on here. No, it doesn't. But up to your Dominion strength, so whatever this number is, up to this, that number of temples each also generated death gem. So for example, if you're at Dominion 6, your first 6 temples will also generate a death gem. It's actually 7, because every 5 temples ups your Dominion by 1, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, the more of that, the more death gems you get, which means the more commanders you can summon. You start with a spectator, which is good because that's already death 2, meaning you can get all of these here. And you can't get any of these yet, but you can get 2 is enough to make a skull staff once you research construction 4. So then you can use that, or, you know, have your god be a death mage. And your god should be a death mage for a lot of reasons. Yeah, and I have Dominions enhanced, so I have a lot more pretender chassis. But yeah, and Return King, like you could do something like a Return King, the gray ones, and then just make sure you give them enough death for all of them to cast Twiceborn, so that way you don't get screwed. I don't really like messing with Trinities, so that's not something I do a lot or at all really. You know, that said, you could go Tartarian if you don't mind Shattered Soul, which is basically another fancier Insanity. But Unholy Reliquary, that's actually not bad, and it generates death gems. Yeah, and this is a reduced for Aramore. I think this is a Dominions enhanced extra one, but that's neither here nor there. Still, thematically appropriate would work. But the reason you don't want, the reason you want undead is you need undead, or at the very least something like the Bronze Colossus, or something that need not eat. Because if you don't have that with Aramore, since you have that massive pop kill, and your death 3 on top of that, if you don't have something that either need not eat or is undead, your god's going to starve to death in the capital. And every time your god dies, you have a chance of losing Dominion or Magic Path. And again, given that Dominion is another way to get gems with this nation, that's very important for them. So this is what I call a gem nation. Because, again, so much of their battle plan revolves heavily around, okay, I've got to get death gems, I've got to get these summons out, I've got to plan my summons and manage my gems. My actual money for Aramore, the only thing you need money for is building forts and temples. That it's pure infrastructure. That's it. That said, you do have to be careful with it, and PD, province defense, while you still can. I say while you still can because this will eventually kill all the population in your places, and as such, PD is dependent on the population. Province defense is what I'm talking about here, where you can only get like 1 point per 10 people. So once it hits 0, you can't have province defense. And your province defense actually will adjust if, cataclysmic events happen. So, like, if it drops, if you have, 20 PD and the population drops below 200, it'll actually drop the province defense to compensate for that. Found that out the hard way. But anyway, so your main goal with Airmore is to get forts everywhere and temples everywhere for death gems. Finding some death sites, because some magic sites have things like one of them, the Crypt Underneath, I think it's called, has a conjuration bonus and gives death gems. And what the conjuration bonus does is it makes schools from any spells from the conjuration school cost, I believe that one was the bonus was 20, so it costs 20% less. So that means you could revive an acolyte for 8 death gems instead of 10. So you'd want to run over there, set up a lab, and do your summons there if possible. Other than that, your capital's less important. It's just a very good gem site and important because of that. But like if you lose it, you don't lose any of your units that you could get from any other fort. Again, your summons, any lab. Whereas Ulm, you lose access to your priest smiths, which can be very useful as extra archer support, basically. It's what they do. Like the entirety, like Ulm's mages are not expected to carry a battle. When you're using mages with Ulm, you are buffing your units and having them carry the battle. With Airmore, because it's death magic, really what they're doing is summoning a crap ton more skeletons and stuff onto the field, which, depending on how you want to read that, is the mages carrying the battle or, just summoning more things to carry the battle for them. But you can do stuff with the mages here are a lot more important. Your priests are a lot more important for Airmore. But again, this is more magic as opposed to economy. Your economy doesn't matter. Your economy will disintegrate on its own as Airmore. And then there's the Blood Nations. I don't classify them the same way. I put them in their own category because blood magic just works so much differently from any other magic. Middle Age is actually a really bad age to try and talk about this. I screwed that up. Let's go to Early Age and we'll talk about it because there's a lot more Blood Nations. Xibalba. Well, Xibalba has some in mid too, so I guess I could have done that. But like, Mictlan is blood in early and late, but not in middle. These guys are all blood except Helheim, I think. Well, Helheim has some, but they're mostly death. Lanka is Kalisa, but blood. Hinam. Yeah, I guess I could have done Ashdod too because of that. But like, the thing with blood slaves, I'll pull them up because they're one of the biggest. Blood 3, Bloods. They're very similar to Gem Nations in that your mages are everything. Like, don't ask me to pronounce any of this stuff. I don't know it. But it's your blood mages are everything. Like with blood slaves, you don't find sites like this. Like, you don't find magic sites out there that have blood slaves typically. There are a few. Forgotten Villages, Damned Merchants. They'll give you a few. But the main way you get blood slaves is you get blood mages, you send them out, like the Anakom. You send them out, and you burn, basically, you go blood searching, which kills some of the population, but you get blood slaves out of it. But the thing is, because of this mechanism, it's a lot easier to amass blood slaves than any other gem type, which is why, like, you look like, summoning a scout is 3 death gems. Like, summoning, 10 ogres is 10 earth gems. Like, you have this, like, 1-to-1 unless it's, like, something powerful. or like commanders or something like jaguars, 17 plus. So if you're a priest with 2 nature magic and affects by 1 for every 2 extra levels. So that one doesn't quite 1-to-1, but it's like it's a very close relationship when you're dealing with numbers. Commanders is where it gets a bit excessive comparison wise. Like Chthonic Spirit and Earth Gnome Commander is 10 gems. Like it's things like that. Summer Lions because they're so good in quotes. Fancy unique creatures 25. And so finding those sites that are like, here's a couple gems, here's a couple gems, it saves up and you cast. But if you go to blood magic, it's 2-to-1. It's just 4 for 1. Beast Bats, which is one of the specials for Mictlan and Xibalba. Bone Fiends, like there's a lot more of a drop. Pact of Reinvigoration, which is pretty nice. Actually, I'd want that, but yeah, that's 25. Like, and so you get down here, and it's like, put it in perspective, 40 gem spells, like a Horde from Hell, like Distant Province, but like things like this is the cost of like, and yeah, especially Bind Ice Devil here, 88. Yeah, like an 88 for a commander. Like, and the reason why is because, contacting Onakis, 101, 105 for Father Ill-Earth. And they cost so much more just because you can get your hands on so much more. Like the Looming Hell, 150, which is a global enchantment, but it's things in your Dominion have random crap happen to them all the time and get stuff. But like, no, I don't know why I went there. Conjuration is the easiest demonstrator of this, but like, you'll notice nothing is that expensive. Like, hell, Well of Misery, which is a insane global enchantment that Aramor will always want, because 21 death gems. Gives everyone income, so people are all kind of okay with it being up, but they're really not because they know what that means for you. But like, you can get that up, it pays for itself in 4 turns. But it's expensive startup. But like, those things like Legion of Whites. Whites are good undead, by the way. 20 plus for 30 death gems. Like Enchanted Forest, which is an insane. If somebody gets this off, you want them dead, basically. It's only 90 gems because you can't mass gems the same way you can mass blood slaves. Having a few good provinces and a few good blood searchers will get you up to like, packed like, oh, you need 40 blood slaves to that. That's nothing. You'll get that in no time with a proper blood economy. And so that's why blood magic, well, one of the reasons blood magic just has like, astral corruption. If somebody has this, everyone wants them dead. Basically, anytime you do anything outside of combat that isn't blood, you can get horror marked, which means your mage is basically going to die at some point. He's very, very dead. But yeah. And so since they play a bit different, like blood works so very differently, I put them in a different category because it's a lot more unit and mage based, but it's not, okay, I need these death gems, like I need to give this man like 5 death gems to cast these spells. It's like, okay, I need to get 1,000,000 blood slaves and then just start churning out the summons. Just put the call out there. Yeah. And so, like, you can recruit Onaki, but they're expensive as shit. Or you can just summon them. And trust me, the blood slaves, it's like what? Each blood slave is worth 5 gold on that summon. Yeah. Well, I don't know what 565 divided by 101 is. It's about 5, though. It's about 5.5. But yeah, that's actually going to be a far more favorable trade for you at that point. And when you do the summon, he comes with beast bats. So you're also getting, you know, yeah, that alone. That's 8, so that's almost 3 castings of this. So that's 24 of it right there for that alone, which brings the gold for Onakis. Yeah, no, you're going to want to do that when you can. They're great combat mages, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, Nature 1, so you can cast some, like, Barkskin and stuff. Death 3 and Blood 3, so you can do some nuts battlefield spells there. I think that's what you need for invulnerability. I could be wrong about that. Let's find out. Yeah, it's 3. To give you invulnerability 25, so non-magical attacks you have 25 protection from. That's actually neat. I didn't know that was a thing. But yeah. And so, like, yeah, these are, like, 2 of the most expensive spells, and they lock at 100. And that's Alteration 9. So you have to go all the way down the tree, and then it's, like, Wish. Wish is stupid. It's stupid powerful, and that's why it costs 100 Astral. Utter Dark is, it's a time. Utter Darkness. And then, like, this is a spell you want, but you probably won't get because you need a level 9 Death Mage as them because you use so much blood summoning anyway and every blood summon is demonic, so you don't care. But anyway, that's the 3 broad categories I put nations in. There's more nuance, and again, depending on the nation, you want to be more concerned about, money or resources or recruitment points. You always are worried about recruitment points. And then with gem nations, sometimes it's summons, sometimes it's just the fact that your mages are so combat capable that they really are what carries you. But all that costs gems. At that point, managing your gems is far more important than managing your money. And then there's blood slaves, where just you want provinces the way an economy nation wants provinces, but you want them so you can burn them to the ground and get a shit ton of blood slaves. Whereas an economy nation just wants them to stay as they are. Now, with those categories established, these are the mods I use all the time. I have some others. I use Legendary every now and again. It's fun, but it makes setup and everything take 8 years. And also really screws comms over, so sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. It doesn't play well Dominions Enhanced, and I love Dominions Enhanced, so I tend to not use it as much. But these are the ones I use, and I'll go over why they skew the balance in these nations. Dominions Enhanced offers basically just a lot more pretenders, a lot more nations, a lot more national spells. Just throws that out there. It adds more to everyone and makes it interesting. It doesn't really affect balance much per se between those 3 categories. All 3 of my other ones, though, actually boost gem nations mostly. A little bit of blood benefit from Visual Basic and the magic item mod, but we'll get into that. So more gems, does exactly what it says on the tin. It increases generic site gem income by 1 and thrones by 2, which can help because it snowballs. So the more sites you have, you get more gems from each, you have more gems to fuck with, and therefore the management of gems becomes a little easier because you just have them. If you accidentally waste some, it's more forgiving. Magic item mod, adds some new items, makes existing items a bunch cheaper. So foraging is now a lot easier. This, again, gem nations, and to a lesser extent, this one doesn't affect it as much because, again, nations like Ulm, which are not gem nations by any stretch of the imagination, well, they benefit from that too because, forging is what they do mostly with their mages, aside from use them as alternate archery batteries, because evocation is nice for them. But then we get to visible sights basic. This is broken. Like, some of these don't show up. Yeah, this is... Yeah, so there's a bunch of events. So this basically is broken for Magic. Because it makes everything is visible, basically, that are not linked to events, are set to 0. And so, yes, as I pointed out, some of those sites create forts and laboratories, which means now they just show up on turn 2. But more to the point, by making them visible, you don't have to send a mage out to site search, meaning the moment you take a province, you are benefiting from all of the sites that are in there, whether or not you could have found them to begin with. Like, for example, if your nation doesn't have astral mages and there's an astral site in a province, well, this makes it visible. So now you're getting astral pearls anyway, which means eventually you can break into it, either by, finding indies, like, a sage tower, an astral site that lets you recruit sages, which are level 1 astral mages, and give astral pearls. Or, just over time, just empowering your pretender or a particularly favored mage in that path. It lets you play with more of the Magic toolbox very easily. Like, a lot of nations, like, for example, I'll pull it up because they're a good example. Ulm works for it too, but we'll pull up Marignan. Like, Marignan, Fire, Astral, you have a bit of air and earth. This is true, but my god, they're not kidding when they say a bit. Like, you're not going to have much of that. And so because, like, that's it, flat out, right there, pressing S to pull up the spells, by the way, you'll never have access to things like, the good ones that I'm thinking of are nature mages, unless you find, independents that are, like, the tribal ones will typically give you, like, nature 1, but unless you get really lucky and something randoms into nature 2 that can random into nature 2, you're not going to have much, if any, nature. Death, you absolutely will not have, because, again, the only things that really hook you up on that score need death mages to find. So unless you take a commander, you don't want to. Death is a bad path for Marignan anyway, and you don't want to, because the House of Fire Justice kills demons and undeads. That doesn't care whose it is. So if you summon demons or undead, they're still going to die there too, so don't do that in your capital. But that said, you're never going to get this normally. Like, nature, you're going to have astral. So you can do that. But you're not going to have, you're not going to have water. You're not going to be able to do any of the water stuff. I don't play this enough to tell you, like, specifically very good things that can do, but you're not going to have access to it. You do have access to Apotheosis, though, which is nice. But, like, yeah, like, all this stuff, you, like, Brew Panacea, which... all bodily mental ills, like, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get, like, Curse of the Desert doesn't matter, but, like, there's some good alteration stuff in water as well. Like, you're not going to get, like, Quicken. You're not going to get Quickness, which is very nice. Yeah. The attack and doubles combat speed, which yes means they attack twice per round instead of just once. Like, water has some good stuff. If you're Marignon, you'll never get that. Now, you do have fire, which has good stuff, and astral, which has good stuff. And some air and earth, but you're really, it's not much unless you take a god for that, and you kind of do, but yeah, because the Grandmasters are the only ones that have these randoms, I'm pretty sure. I'll double check that right now, but yeah. But all your priests, basically, except for the friar, have at least some fire magic, which is a nice little touch. Which is why you do kind of want to take a fire chassis. And also the extra fire points. But like with Visual Basic, like the Visual Sights mod, now you can still find nature sites and whatnot to empower your people, even if you don't have nature mages. So you can eventually get there and have full access to the box. That said, I play, like, when you're creating a game, I'll just do this for the point. Few water, I don't want to deal with that right now. Blargan. I'll just make it up, hit caps lock in the middle of it, yeah. Whatever. That said, I do tend to pick, when I'm setting this up, like, Pangea, Age of Bronze, I don't know, against Asphodel, fuck it. I'm not going to pay too much attention here because I'm not planning on doing anything with this. This is not an actual game I'm going to be playing, but magic weapons, magic resistance. I already have recuperation and I already have berserk. Like, that's the weird thing about playing a bunch of these nations, is it's like, you can take a loreful dude like this, but it's like, what paths are you gonna have? Okay, well, Pangea, all their crap already has recuperation for the most part. I don't know if literally everything has it, but a lot of things have it. So there's that. Yeah, and their elites lose berserking. All their like shitty units, well, not all of them, but a lot of their shittier units have berserk. Minotaurs have berserk, which is very nice. Because it means they won't rout and trample your own people, so that's nice. It is something you have to worry about with stuff like this. But yeah, you got a lot of nature as them. And you have blood, which is nice, but yeah. But yeah, so your options really are, it's like, well, do I go like lore and like cop to that nature? And you can, but what are you gonna do? Like, half of the stuff like recuperation, I already have that on everything, so I don't need the like that. And then berserker, it does give +2 to things that already berserk, which I believe your sacred does. Yes, so that bumps you up to berserker +5, which adjusts. It drops, if I remember, it drops defense skill by that much, ups protection by that much, and strength, I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't mess with berserk much. But like things like that. Again, this is for, it's Pangea. I don't need that as much. Again, like resource 12, like 28, like the cataphracts are kind of pricey, but it's whatever. 1 point of sloth isn't going to kill me too much there. Just let it be whatever. And I'm not even playing this. Like, but the thing is, I do set this up to 75, which hyper impacts, again, visual sights and more gems makes it so like this gives a lot more benefit to gem nations, but then I like to go up to 200% on all these at minimum. Sometimes I go up to 3. And that hyper benefits economy nations. Not blood nations, though. That's something that should be noticed. Blood nations don't really get a benefit from this because all these are originally calculated based on population. So it doesn't affect population at all, which is the important thing for blood nations. Well, one of. The other important thing is the age, but that's neither here nor there. You could still I don't really understand how that part of it works. I just know that I've read and seen a lot of people noting that it is a thing. But yeah, so because of that, like these heavily benefit economy nations. Like it doubles the resources and things they care about. And you can even go crazier. Like if you're a pop kill nation like Aramor, if you're like Aramor, you can leave money alone and then just drop all of this because literally none of this matters to you. If you want a really easy time as Aramor or the Telkines in early age, or Lemuria in late age, or to a lesser extent Asphodel, but Asphodel is a weird nation. From everything I've seen and everything I've seen gone over. We'll flip it around for this point, and I'll go over it a little bit here. But yeah, like Asphodel, you have a unit line, and your unit line is basically your early age Pangea unit line. You got your undisciplined Minotaurs, your like Minotaur warriors, like your stuff's cheap, but you get less gold, greatly reduced tax income, but you do get mannequins and carrion beasts, more of them in forests, and temples and growth scales increase the rate of reanimation, and magic gives better reanimation. So that right there is already a problem, because you're a pop kill nation, which I don't know if they make obvious there, but they are. Temples generate nature gems. That's nice. They note that. They don't note that on Aramor that your temples generate death gems, but they do. Yeah, so you've got, nature death. Problem is, your sacreds, like, bless doesn't matter for you. Like, these are nice, but, and they have sloth power, so you are going to want to take sloth, which is fine, because we've been over, your units don't cost resources worth a damn. But it is pop kill. It's a pop kill nation, reanimating corpses and mannequins, and the dreamless slumber. So, like, you can only get these for a limited time, since these are cap only. Once your population in there dies, you'll never get them again. Just because you won't have the resources, blah, blah, blah. Recruitment points, etc. Because all that's based on population. So, you're going to be losing population, but you need to take growth scales, and growth scales won't make up for it. Okay, so it auto grabs both for them. That's nice. I don't know if that's a Dominions Enhanced thing or a this thing. I'm assuming these two cancel each other out, so it's fine. But yeah, so it's like you want magic as these guys too, which means you kind of want to play them as a scales nation, but they're pop kill. Like, that's the biggest problem, is since they are a pop kill nation, and yeah, I'll go Carrion Dragon, because why not? I like Carrion Dragon. And you get the paths you need there. But it's like, as a pop kill nation, Stygian Flesh, 10 in Bone, not bad, but it's not great anyway. Like, you have so much nature access, you can spam Wooden Warriors on your troops, which does what the spell does anyway. It just requires you to research down to Wooden Warriors. Unaging, is that really necessary for you? Half of your place is just undead already. Like, again, you can take Berserker. Honestly, I would go ahead and bump that up to 5 and go Barkskin with the extra point. Again, that's not really necessary though. Poison resistance, most of your people are like, again, towards the later game, your people are undead. They're already immune to poison. Resilient, I guess, but like, again, you could go all the way up, up to that 7 for the regen bless, which is nice, but again, you've got, like, the only things that can benefit from that are not your panic apostates, which is a problem because they're some of your better, like, chassis up here. Like, minotaurs are probably some of your best if you can ignore the fact that they won't use their attacks and will just trample instead. But, like, 2 hit point regen, if that, on a bless is it's not bad. It's extra staying power in battle, which is nice. There you go. Why not Undying? I don't know what offhand, what if any of their undead summons are sacred. I just know that they're I'm gonna get Strangle Lines. Decrease for growth death scales, also increased by forest and reduce wastelands. So yeah, it does. Like, you do have some interesting stuff with them. You have the Pangea, we are nature, so we could just summon a crap ton of, regular stuff. Strength and growth isn't bad. So yeah, they have some interesting that. But yeah, this. They have a bunch of, benefits for their stuff. Like, they can give their undead regen with this stuff. Which, again, begs the question of then why are we bothering, like, why do I bother with a regen glass, Except it's, they're not sacred, so it's whatever. Like, if you can get a Holy 4. So, basically a Holy 3, which I think you might have heroes that can do that, but, whatever. This is neat. You don't want it as much as you think you do. Because it is an undead version of your Panic Apostates, which is nice. But, and there it is, they're not sacred. They can't hold the bless. Your Carrion Ladies and Centaurs, however, they are priests still. Which means they can, and they are reanimator priests, meaning they're more free spawn of mannequins. Yeah. Dark Revival. So yeah, like, as you research more, like, you'll get more access to things, but yeah. Sleeping Curse, which scales 3, Dominions reduced. Like, you have some interesting stuff that you can do. Which is, like, it's fine, but yeah, Gaia's Vengeance, get, yeah, more pop kill, but more mannequins. Yeah. But, like, that's the problem. You basically have to spend, by default, 120 points on growth, which you get back for sloth, so there is that, but it's like, you have to spend this, and that growth will not outstrip the death. So it's a very weird nation. And again, you want magic, you don't. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, it is. I don't know if that affects points, though. Well, again, the defaults on this balance each other out, because it is default growth 3. I'm used to Dominions 4, is the problem, is you'll hear me citing things like that offhand. Like, yes, it is growth 3, sloth 3 by default. It didn't used to be. Much like how Airmore, yeah, I'm just gonna, yeah, I know. Pop Dormant to show what I mean. Like, Airmore is death 3 by default now. instead of giving a free 120 points. But I'm used to Dominions 4 and 3. 3 was my main. I played a lot of 3 and then a good amount of 4 and now 5. Where back in the day, yes, a lot of these nations were. Airmore was, if I recall correctly, an existential threat in 4. Before the bless system got work, yeah, and no recruitments. Oh yeah, no, you're talking about Asphodel still. Yeah, no, that's true. As well, yeah, which gets hit by the pop and the pop kill. But yeah, like you'll hear me make a lot of incorrect statements about things like Airmore, like nations I don't play much that have been adjusted to make sense. Like again, Airmore not getting a free 120 points here. And you know, me referring to Asphodel losing 120 points that it no longer loses. You are right about that. That said, feel free to keep correcting me, but you will hear me make those mistakes. Warning you now. That said, I'm not good at this game by any means. I'm just pulling it up to demonstrate I'm not actually playing right now. That said, what age do I actually want to play as today? Alright. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not either. I just find them incredible because I find pop kill off-putting to begin with. It's why I don't play late age relay. I don't play middle age airmore much, or Asphodel. I find pop kill off-putting. I really don't like it. I don't play, so I'm very unfamiliar with a lot of those nations. I will occasionally do them as memes, but never seriously. Middle Age Ulm is the nation I have the most experience with because it's one of the most straightforward and easy to learn nations. I don't mess with blood economies much. And most of what I quote unquote know is from other YouTube videos like Lucid Tactics, Attica, a few of the other people who make good videos. Yeah, I've heard they're interesting, and they look interesting. I feel like playing them would be kind of similar to playing Lemuria, which is another one I don't play, but just because they both do mostly ghost free spawn, although again, Therados does have a unit line, and by their own acknowledgement, forts make it so your cities don't actually die all the way for Therados, as I understand it. I say as I understand it because I just recently watched Attica's overview of Therados. Not that I play them. There's a lot of niche stuff in this game that is very, like, if you play it a lot, you are... Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. Yeah, because they have every reason to slap forts everywhere, whereas with other nations, you kind of want to give them some space as recruiting centers or as border forts. Just so that way they're not cutting into each other's resources. Whereas with Therados, that doesn't matter as much, and it gives you more ghost spawn. And I do like turtling as a tactic, so I should probably give them another go over or 6. From between what you're saying and what Attica was demonstrating. They piqued my interest. I'm just warded off by the pop kill. That's really what it boils down to. Is I'm one of those people that I'm like, but I don't want to be a god that murders my people about that. But yeah, no, there's a lot of niche stuff that if you don't play them, you'll never know. Like, a middle-age Agartha is the only one, really, who benefits from the, I'm just doing shit, the Reconstruction Bless. Because they're the only ones that actually have a reasonable amount of sacred, sacred statues. Most people, if you have statues, they don't benefit. Really? I can kind of see that. I've been coming around. I play them as a, I play them thematically, because I enjoy Japan. I am a weeb. I don't mind acknowledging that fact. And I do enjoy drowning people in hordes of goblins. I mean, my god, that is... Yeah. Yeah, they can be. They have a lot of good summons, a lot of good sacred summons. I'll pull that up. Because, yeah, like, half of their stuff, like, all the Karasu and Konoha Tengus, those, in addition to being flying, storm immune, you know, good stat units, they're also sacred, so they can carry any bless you feel like jamming on them. I don't know everything that is, like Bakineko or not. And then again, I have Dominions enhanced on, so I have things like Locate Tengu Village, which basically lets you free spawn Tengu, once you've cast the spell. Unless that's native. Like that's like it's been so long since I've played this without Dominions enhanced on. I don't know what is and what isn't. Let's actually just fast hop this because I can do that. I can just turn it off. That might get a we'll be right back for a bit while it Okay. No, it's easy to turn off. It's just when it turns on that it's yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, like a lot of Dominions Enhanced does a lot of that. Again, and there's a lot more Pretender chassis for that too. Just pop base so I can pull up the base spell list. Yeah, and like there was a bunch of nations down here that were mod nations. I know that much, but like, yeah. Okay, yeah, and those, okay. Some of my favorite units are mod units, fair. But yeah. Yeah, let's see what they have regularly. But yeah, summoning those are still sacred in normal. They're still very good, very strong, very good to hold a bless on. Yeah, you still have your Bakineko. You do have Oni, but I mean, I'm not a fan of turmoil scales, so I tend to lean more. And then again, you Dai Tengu, like that whole line is sacred, and that's a good mage if you can get air. Which, you know, pretender for it. Take a pretender lord for that. Yeah, Kurooni. You do have a lot of mage summons as them. You know, Oni generals are pretty good. Like everything. Yeah. Yeah. No, it would be nice. Yeah. I should probably change the text. Yeah. Pretty much, yeah, and a lot of them are like nature summons and like they're from paths they get with the exception of air you don't really get with them. But, you know, just slap air on your pretender and you're good. Was that a mod chassis? Yes, it was. Okay. There's, yeah, Dominions Enhanced adds a lot more pretender chassis, one of which being a Tengu chassis. So, like, as long as you remember to take, you know, like 4 or 5 points of air on your pretender, you have access to your Tengu, which is nice. Yeah, and then, like, contacting Dai Tengu for a bunch of it. But at that point, though, you do also need to send your god out for site searching, unless you have mods like I do that make sites visible anyway. Yeah, you do kind of want to take a Rainbow Pretender, at least a few paths and everything, just so you can have access to all your summons. But, yeah. Yeah, actually, let's go ahead and change the message color here so it's... See, does that stand out more? No, that does not. Yeah, I think I might need to change the opacity of it too. Yeah, we change the box and then that. Yeah, that helps a bit. Okay. But yeah, because you do have summons for everything, and you can get a bunch of them with your regular mages, but yeah. Well, when you look at their unit line, that's the thing is if you a lot of nations, just knowing them helps a lot. Because it's like going in, if I didn't, and back in the day, like, so, full disclosure, yeah, Jotunheim is, yeah, Jotunheim I see a lot. But, like, if I didn't know to hit the S button, because, like, back in the day, this is one of the shortcuts they never tell you unless you, like, read the manual or something, or you have hints on. Back, for most of my experience, I didn't know you could hit S to see the spell lists and be able to look at them before you made your pretender chassis. I always thought going into this that you had to whatchamacallit, cast, like you always had to get in and then look at the research to find it. Um yeah. And so I would always just be like looking at this and so being like, what do we have? We have that. The note that you have summons, but okay, we have that. But then looking at the unit line, it's like there's no sacred units. There's no cap only units, which is very nice. That's one of the things I do love about this game. Nation. Yeah, and again the no sacred troops, which is true. But like the way I read that and like looking at just this screen, I see okay, yeah. Yeah, because he's got the sleep aura and invulnerability 15 and life drain. Um, he is solid. And like that's without any magic items. Um, and again, that's sleep aura, which is the standard killer of a lot of things because fatigue damage. That's a strong sleep aura too. Um, yep, yeah, but yeah, like that's the thing is, and that this has screwed me before on this too. It's like I read no sacred troops and the stat line as okay, let's just chuck a bless out the window. Who cares about a bless for this nation? But you know, Karasu and Konoha Tengus are sacred, carry a bless very well. um, and there's a few others, but those appear to have been mod summons that also carried it quite well. But yeah, it's and so like I chuck a bless out the window, but it, like Karasu Tengu, that's flying sacred, withering weapons. What's Windwalker even? All sacred units march one map move. Okay. But they already have shock resistance, so that's not as important. But you know, because he has shock resistance, you could actually go charged bodies and more minor shock resistance if you wanted to. Alternatively, precision because not far shot precision because they do have throw lightning. Um, you know, there's a lot you can do with Tengu that you'd never have access to if you just looked at this and built around this. Because again, you don't get air naturally, and so you'd never be able to do, contact Eye Tengu, Konoha Tengus. Granted, you only really need 1 point in air for a lot of this. Like, you need 2 at most. So I'd probably just go there and go another for the Bless. But, maybe go up to Hard Skin on Earth just because I really like Earth. Which, Nat proc. 5 Nat proc is always good. But then you have to worry about scales. And yeah, no, that is certainly true because, yeah, that means you can jam 6 of these in a square, which makes your attack density insane. You are absolutely right about that. No, that is great. And then, yeah, you just take a Bakemono General, a crap ton of Bakemono Show, and then your attack density goes nuts. Like, these guys being size 3 is a bit of a bummer, and, like, I like the archers. I like having those as archers just because of the extra range on them, but really, yeah, no, you just drown people and goblins. It's honestly, anytime I seriously try to learn and play this game, and I play Shunuyama,
I drown them in goblins. I have a channel. I need to go back to it. I have a series of Shinuyama when I was just starting out, trying to really learn it. It's not going well for me, but that's because I'm not playing them properly. It's also on an older version of Dominions Enhanced. I go over what mods I have on at the start of that series, but I do have a series of Shinuyama. Yeah, I know. Um, on, and I just want to show off the map I have that one on, because this is, yeah. I have it on MA Mortal Realms. It's got a fixed start for everyone in the Middle Ages. Um, it's a massive map. It's insane. It's going well for me. Yeah, but everyone has a fixed start. All this is underground. Shinuyama starts here, has a link to the underground right there, which lets you get around up here. A lot of, and it caters to every nation. Every nation has a fixed start, and that start caters to their setup. Like, your goblins are cheaper in mountains and highlands. There's a lot of mountains and highlands in here. There's a lot of mountains and highlands in South China too, which is where you pop up in one of these outs. Um, but everywhere's got a fixed start. I prefer Shinuyama or Tianchi in this map because they've actually got some distance from people. I think Kylem's here too, though. Like Asphodel's here. Like over here is just jam packed because Man's here. Tirnanog or whatever they're called in Middle Age. I think they're Tirnanog in Middle, but or Iru or whatever it is. They're here. Is here. Ulm's here. Marignon's here. Airmore is somewhere in here. Scalera is also somewhere in here. It is jam packed and heavily competitive. Like Jotunheim's up here, Vanheim's down here, Bogarus is over here. Like it is very packed with all the like European nations, for lack of a better put, are like all over here. Then you have like Banderlogs over here, but there's water between Shinuyama and them. Tianchi's up here. Again, decent amount of space. Na'Ba is over here. Abyssi is over here. But you've got space to expand. You've got a lot of mountains and highlands to vomit goblins out of. And it's doable. It's very doable. You can get very strong given enough time there. And so I do have a YouTube series, same username as this one, of me playing as Shinuyama there. Playing poorly. It should be noted. If you're looking for good gameplay of this elsewhere, Na'Ba has some interesting setup, as I understand it. I'm not doing the full right now, but because as I understand Na'Ba, yeah, like you have giants, which and you have your Jin Guard, your Sacreds are essentially giant elves, which and you have a mage version, so you can thug these, a mage commander version with good leadership. So you can thug and command with this. You have your elf glamour. Yeah. Fire and air. Yeah. Except okay, no, that was mod stuff. Mods made it a bit more open, but yeah, it's fire and air. Fire, air with some earth. Your major mages are ethereal. Obfuscate. Yeah. This thing, like, you got fire for the which is extra leadership. But yeah, fire, air, earth, and a bit of astral in randoms. But yeah, there are a lot of fire and air. They have camo riders, which all start with this. Let's see, where is it? Falconry. Many camo riders own a falcon, so they sometimes start with extra falcons. But yeah, you have tax collecting, pillaging, stealthy camel riders that you can. Yeah, has 1d3 falcons at the start of every battle on them. That one just has, yeah, so you have falcons with them. They don't get formations, but you have stealthy pillagers, basically. You can send raiding parties of these into enemy territory and go nuts with it. Your human units are fairly standard human units. You know, there's nothing to really write home about here. But there's nothing like glaringly bad about them. But you have access to giants in your forts as well. So you've got that set, and then the great bows with their super long range with crossbow range, but can attack every round, but no armor piercing. You also get water gems, which is interesting, because of the Great Dam and increased growth in the capital. But yeah, you get a lot of set there. A lot of variety of gems, but not a lot of gems for any of them, it looks like. Yeah, a good mix on it. But yeah, I'm back to... Okay, there are quite a few tender chassis here. Yeah, the Firstborn of the Smokeless Flame, Sahira, Ginny Queen, yeah, City Brass for the Fall. Yeah, let's take a look at their spells, shall we? So they can summon more Jinn, then during Reign of Previous, they are naturally invisible and ethereal, but take physical form. So you can get invisible and ethereal commanders. It looks like Jinn Warriors, which are just, yeah. So it looks like you can summon your sacreds if you don't want to spend the money on them. Unless those are different, but what do I know? And then you have, yeah, other summons can only be cast in wastelands. A commander. Once concubines have sold Ubar. Magic dwindled. Few remain. They share traits they have. So they have glamour, invisibility, and other magic stuff. So it looks like you're going to want at least some nature for that. Slot, Malign, Ginny Spirit. Again, Wasteland summons. So you're going to want a lab in a wasteland somewhere with them. Might be mistaken. True Jinn. They have glamour, but not invisible. So they have more air magic than Jinn, but probably less fire. Seduction Commander. That's interesting. And not Pop Kill. Cool. Bin. Okay, so you are going to want to give water if you want access to this stuff. Can only be cast in wastelands. Alright. Yep. The Bin are spiritual. They were vanquished by the Jinnan. A few of them still roam the desert. Born from stagnant water and blistering winds. Are invisible. Dog-headed half-men. Okay, so they do have invisibility. Yeah. Marids are, if I recall correctly, they're very good mage commanders. Powerful, yeah. But their maritime exile granted them power over water as well as fire, air, and earth. So it seems like you're not going to worry too much about water, because these guys have it. They are high path summons, but those are paths you have. That's fire and air. That is your standard. Which, how high does their best go? Okay. Yeah. So there's a chance of just randoming a commander into the paths you need. Unless that was 5. That was probably 5. But yeah, at that point, oh no, it is just 4. So yeah, you can random into your very good summons but that is Conjuration 8. So it's going to take you a bit to get there. But other than that, and then you do have these Sahir in the deserts, which are stealthy mages that have 1 hin at the start of every battle. So you have, yeah, stealthy units that come with summons. You've got mages that come with summons. You've got, yeah, you've got glamour commanders with decent armor, but they do have iron vulnerability. That's ordinary non-magic iron, but not arrows. So you are going to have to worry about that, I think, because all of your, okay, not all. All right, disregard anything I was going to say. But your good mages are and good commanders have iron and salt vulnerability. Um, yeah. So yeah, salt causes great damage and disrupts some magical effects such as invisibility or glamour. Taking damage also risks stunning the unit for a short time. So you're gonna need to watch for that, but you know, if your mages are getting surrounded anyway, it's kind of too late at that point. Do have magic power, which is nice on those ones at least. Yeah. Again, you have a lot of fortune telling, which is good. So you can risk small on luck scale. Like you can take a point or two of misfortune with this. Like that would not be the end of the world for this nation, where it could be with others. You have access to your big summons naturally, which is very nice. Hori, I don't know if you have any of. Any way to get to in this age. But that's not your big summon. Let's see. Do you have any fancy evocation? You have air, fire, fatigue damage over a wide area. Yeah, so you can basically cast Resuscitation over a large area for 2d8 fatigue every turn. That's pretty powerful. So you can fatigue people out pretty easily with these people. Smokeless Flame. It hits a whole square and then does 10 squares of lighting people on fire. Adds Lingering Heat for fatigue where it hits. I guess I don't know if that's the center or the full 10. But yeah, they've got a lot going for them. And this isn't something... It looks like most of their stuff you don't need to build a pretender around either. Like, things like Middle Age Ulm, if you want your Contact Iron Angels, you basically need to have built a pretender for it. Everything I'm seeing here for them... Yeah, there's nothing here to mention, but it was worth checking. Everything here I'm seeing for national spells, you get naturally here. Jin Block. A Stone Idol is immobile. Okay. So it's an immobile priest idol. I guess you could give it something that lets it spam summons, and that'll be an interesting protection of your labs. That looks like it'd be a very niche thing, though. Because it is immobile. But nice. You're right. I don't stick around long enough to. Is part of my problem. But yeah, it looks like you are from Na'Ba. It sounds like you're exactly what it says on the tin. You have a copy of the Bronze Colossus as well. But yeah, doesn't look like you need to be aware of anything to build a pretender on. Just cater to what they are. 3 points of growth, always. Your sacreds are good enough that you kind of want to bless, but, by the same token, it's not the end of the world if you don't, or if you just take a small one. Something like that's not terrible. Yeah, that begs the question of where we set. Yeah. Yeah, it's not... Yeah, we can even go dormant. That bless is still effective, and we can just go scales, because again, the actual pretender isn't necessary for any of the high-level spells. Granted, the high-level spells would be you'd be awake by the time you get the research for that anyway. Although you do have some very efficient research options here, it looks like. 7 research on a 32 gold a year upkeep ain't bad. All of your mages seem to be sacred. He's a level 2 priest, so we want him regardless for fortune teller, but we'd probably be using the Caribs as research monkeys. Because they're not... Yeah, the Sahir aren't sacred, although they do have their own summons. But yeah, them with their own little like crap falcon summons plus, you know, ranged cavalry, raider pillagers. You've got good setups here, is what I'm seeing. Yeah. Labs are cheaper in wastes too, so all of your waste only spells, you have a bunch of reasons to go for. Um but yeah, going like dormant, 6 dominion, like some minor scales across the board. Yeah, you can, like I said, you could risk a point or two of misfortune here if you really want to up your scales a bit more. Although I might actually want to do it that way, because, well, yeah, 26 resources on their giants, and everything else is less. So, it doesn't look like we need productivity as much. I might actually just go 3 order on that. Like, something like this would be viable. Because it looks like, yes, gold is going to be a big thing for you. Like, even your Sahirs are sacred. So, like, a lot of your good mages... Okay, the Malikas are a bit yikes on the upkeep score. But, you know... Gold's going to be important for you. It looks like resources, not so much. Like, you've got bronze, which is... Makes sense if your, you know, ruling class is weak to iron. But... bronze keeps production costs down, so your resources are like, you know, your sacreds cost half the resources of Ulm good infantry. So yeah, it looks like something like this would be viable. Yeah. Let's go ahead and try it out, I guess. Well, what can I do with this? Can I go one higher? Nope. Doesn't look like it. Okay, well, 20 points to get a path. I can put a point in water, I guess. Just to have. I don't want to go 1 point in astral for obvious. Actually, yeah, because I have summons for air, but not air, water, but not for nature. So a point of that would give me access to my own summoning of... Where are they? The Hauri. Yeah. So that would let me experiment with that. That'll give me... And with that, I already have the... Like, I have access to my entire summoning library. My entire library of unique spells, which is that setup, basically. Which is nice, because this isn't like, you know, Ulm, where, oh, I need to throw death on my pretender. This isn't, well, late age Ulm. This isn't, well, middle age Ulm, where I need to throw a few points of astral on my pretender and make sure they have high earth. This isn't, you know, one of those where you need to understand a mechanic to go. It's very straightforward, it looks like. So we'll go ahead and give this a spin. Actually, no, we won't, because if I remember right, I have it on a giant map with 2 people. That would be a slog. It'd be interesting, don't get me wrong, but it'd be a slog. Yeah, this with just 2 people. One here, one who knows where. Yeah, that would be a time. Over 5, like almost 1,500 provinces. Yeah, no. Not with just 2 people. Could do the Ordia, with like 7 or 8. Yeah. Shame I'm gonna have to rebuild that, but that wasn't hard to do. No, not disciples. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. 8 comms. I'll go ahead and do Na'Ba. I don't want to deal with water nations, so you're all getting random land. And just leave them on random AI type, because I'm not concerned about that part of it. Alright. So let's just go back to rebuilding my pretender chassis. 4, 4, dormant. 6, 3, 3. I think I did it this way if I recall correctly. Yeah, and then the point in water. Attack skills, pure morale, swiftness, and minor shockries. Yeah, they don't start with any reases, so that is a nice little buff against enemy air nations. But yeah, we've got decent earth research monkeys. who do I need? Yeah, it looks like I'll be needing to get a good number of Sahirs, though. If only to try to get a random Earth 2 for Earth Boots. Because once you get Earth Boots, then you can, get people up to Earth 3 with Earth Power. And you want Conjuration on this anyway. Conjuration, Evocation, Alteration are probably going to be your 3 big schools here. Construction, of course, but, like, it looks like, because you're going to want the Evocation for, like Scorching Wind and Smokeless Flame. You have big AoE magic attacks, which are nice. You have very good summons, so you want to get that. You want to get Conjuration up to, like, at least 6, it looks like. 8 if you can help it. And Alteration is just, you have some Earth, so you can get Iron Skin, You've got the standard. You've got air, so you've got mist form. You've got all the standard good stuff here. From earth, fire, and air. If you get there, you got Iron Warriors. If you get your earth boots, though it doesn't really, it's not wide enough for my tastes, but. You can even pop, Iron Bane if you want to, though I don't know why you would. Granted, that's as much because I don't understand the thing than anything else. Yeah, you can get down to Marble Warriors pretty quickly. But yeah, you have access to these. You'll always want some construction, of course, for items, but like, it does seem like a solid nation. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, if you're fighting them, yeah. Their regular units aren't much to speak of. Again, like Proc 12, like only 10 on that. And they don't have it, but like, yeah, all their sacreds have glamour. Their summons are, and their best mages are ethereal, and glamored. Yeah, a lot of glamour all around. And then, yeah, most of your mages are going to have mist form. Like, yeah, a full third of these are going to random into being able to cast mist form. And that's your basic commander. I say basic, like, really, this is your basic commander. But, like, these guys are recruited any fort, as long as they have 11 a temple. Have 125 leadership, which means they have the morale bonus on them. Early expansion, I might see a bunch of these. Again, raiding parties with the sheiks. They are tax collectors, as well as being, stealthy, composite bow, falcon spawning, what have you. So, like, raiding parties of these are not bad because you can plunder the land, and even while you're plundering behind enemy lines, you're still getting the income. So this can be very disgusting very quickly, is what I'm seeing out of this. Yeah, I only see, like, Na'Ba has it, Tianqi has it, Marignan has it, I think. That might have been a mod thing. But yeah, not a lot have it. And even less have it on something that is also stealthy and a pillager. And as Wasteland Survival, which is a nice little caveat, and inspirational. So these are all around very good raiding parties. Give him 60. Yeah, give him 60 camel riders. Have them get behind enemy lines, burn it to the ground in pillaging, and then run away. Yeah. Yeah, because it's what, the eunuchs for Tianqi, I think, and they have tax collector, and they do have defense organizer, which is nice. But yeah. No, this is the only sneaky tax collector I'm aware of. Not a lot of nations have it. You're correct. Yeah, I think we're good to just dive right in. I like setting this up to maximum. I like setting up just general high supply. Fine with leaving that as it is. I don't like messing around with the thrones, honestly. They've been around since 4. I didn't care for them then. I don't really care for them now. But let's go 7, 3, and 1, I guess. And we'll set it up to 12. Really, you could probably get away with 10 on this if you didn't want to go too crazy. Yeah, yeah. Because with single player, it's basically just, you play until you get bored. Like, the more time, you will win eventually as long as you just keep throwing time at it. Unfortunately, I don't stick around long enough to throw enough time at it. Whereas, yeah, with multiplayer, especially if you're playing against people who know what they're doing, and you have, like, land nations and cold and underwater nations, if you go for, like, a conquer all, say, you run into the stalemate because even if you have like Shambler Reefs or Ichthid spawns, you can't really win underwater. But by contrast, the underwater nations can't win on land, and so you're basically stuck in a stalemate there. That said, I do have it on all land nations, and this is single player, so I'd go ahead and leave it on just conquer all. I like score graphs just because I like to gauge where I am. I'm not good enough to know how well I'm doing. So I think I have X amount of expansion with this nation, so I think I'm doing pretty good. I like to compare. I like renaming. It's just fun. And again, I do have some other mods on, even though I never turned Dominions Enhanced back on. Whoops. I do have other mods on that are things like making sites visible, and reduced costs for forging, increased gem income, and again, all sites being visible. But those cut both ways, so I'm fine with it. Those don't adjust. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and I get that. Yeah, like a lot of people who spent God knows how many hours, yeah, they'll look at that and they'll go, yeah, okay, so you're off to a bad start, or okay, it's single player, it's just me here and my audience. Thank you, Stormworm. But there's really nothing else going on here. I don't have to worry about other people, which is part of why I enjoy playing single player. I have never once played multiplayer on any of the Dominions, not counting Hot Seat with my friends. I have played that, but we're almost always on a team. But yeah. Yeah. No, and that's a valid concern too. But my nation doesn't have spies, and I don't really care about making things balanced for the comms. The comms don't use them anyway, so it's whatever. But yeah, you're right. No, it does make spies interesting, and sometimes if I know I'm going in, like if I took the 10 seconds to look at it and know, excuse me, that my nation has spies going in, I will tend to turn score graphs off. But Na'Ba doesn't have spies, that I saw. And if it's just me in the comms, it's whatever. That said, I don't know if you're actually seeing this setting up start positions or if you're seeing a BRB screen because the FPS is fixed at 3. Yeah, that's the thing. If you have stealthy 60-person raiding parties, do you really need spies? That's the question. And I think everyone can agree the answer is no. You don't need spies at that point. But yeah, it's a time. I'll have to see what Na'Ba gets with Dominions Enhanced because Dominions Enhanced adds a lot for every nation. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, this does seem that way. You're not wrong. It's like Ulm. You get what you. It says like. Oh, don't talk to me about int. I've looked at. I actually watched Attica's video on that too, with the overview on that. I see that. I watched like, okay, you need castles everywhere, you need forts everywhere to get all these different types of units, and if you're just getting in, you don't know which ones are good and which ones aren't. And yeah, they're that's a nightmare to look at. Um, I have stayed well clear of Ind as well. Yeah, no, I'm not touching anything that's like, oh well, if you have a castle here, you get this. If you have a castle here, you get this or this, depending for the plains and farmlands, because you get either Femini or the Horned Men, if I remember right. But yeah, yeah, yup, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Um, Yeah, that's basically how I feel about a lot of nations in this game. Is it's like one day I'm gonna learn how to do all these things, but that day is not today. Just plain and simple. Yeah, yeah. So like even their scouts are pillagers. So if somebody forgets to put PD, wow. Yeah, Na'Ba just seems like a bad time to deal with. Like it's not a problem playing them, obviously, but like you're fighting against someone who's good at this game and they've chosen Na'Ba. Like, it just seems like a really bad time. Okay, so their sacreds are cap only, and their really good mages are cap only, which is understandable. But that's it. Like, you know, you've still got giants if you have the resources for them. Which maybe I should have done a bit more of, since I do tend to go. I have a bad habit of going quality over quantity, and that has bit me in the ass when playing. Yeah. Um, but yeah, like I said, this is like I tend to go quantity, like quality over quantity in all situations, especially if I don't know what I'm doing, and that bit me in the ass when playing as Shinuyama, because that's not how you play Shinuyama. It really isn't. Aside from like Dominions Enhanced made some things viable because they added a unit with true shot longbows for them, which is nice. But you don't. Okay, so I don't have enough resources to go 3 and 3 on giants. Okay, these do have short bows. It makes it look like a javelin sticking off his back, but he does have a short bow. This is why you check. I don't need raiding parties right now. I need expansion. That said... Okay, so yeah. Yeah, the resource costs on those archers are low. It's going to be very easy to mass them up. 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright. I just like keeping it even. I'm not OCD that I'm aware of, but, you know. Okay, yeah, and so you have stealthy Earth Mage Priests. What is this disgustingness? I just looked at that. Yeah, these guys seem like a really bad time to play against. Like, it's just a pain in the ass, because you've got, you know, the Sahirs are recruit anywhere elf mages that are sacred, so they have the reduced upkeep. You know, they have fortune tellers. These guys are fortune tellers too, so I guess you could use it with them. But like, Sahirs and Mukaribs for that. Mukaribs are level 2 priests, whereas these guys are just sacred. So that's something to consider, I guess. Like, you know, you've got giants, you've got good thug chassis. I mean, 27 health, no real weaknesses there. 16 strength, decent stats. Proc matters less because you can just give them better armor to get around low proc. I don't know which one of these two I'd want to thug more. It looks like the stats are a bit better on the John Amir. The Malika does. They have 1 point in Earth, which is enough for Iron Skin. I don't know if they let you cast Iron Skin on them, though, seeing as they have Iron Vulnerability. But that would be a neat little thing if they did. I don't know if they do or not. But yes, Malika, in addition to its other... Yeah. Yeah, they can, because they're already flying. You are correct. Yep, they sure can. And they have a 20%, excuse me, that's 5 options. Oh, and they can get nature. I didn't see that. I was blind apparently. Um Happens to me a lot. But yeah, so they have a decent chance. At 20% of them are going to be Earth 2, so they can get your Earth boots and Earth power. And yeah. Yeah, no, this is a disgusting mage. I imagine hence why 480 gold and still, with being sacred, 192 upkeep a year. Yeah, no, you're right. Especially for the mid age where you don't see a lot of like the early age. This is like an early age mage in the middle age. Like this is disgusting. Oh, and they have level 1 priests so they can bless themselves. So really what I probably should have done here. Yeah, it's really what I probably should have done looking at this. If I was going to go bless, I don't regret going scales. I feel like scales was still a good call. But if I was going to go for a more bless, I should be going heavy mage bless. Because she's disgusting. The Sahir's disgusting. That's basically almost, yeah, and there's a 33% chance here being Earth 2, Fire 2, Air 2. Which is solid paths all around. That's Mist Form, Iron Skin, Earth Power for reinvigoration, like low proc, but Iron Skin. Maybe Stone Skin if you can't. But yeah, a Mage Bless could actually be really good on this nation because every single one of your fort mages is at the very least sacred. And that means your mages can take a blast. So I could have gone as a valid thing with something with high earth and then gotten like Reinvig 3 on mages. That was something I could have and probably should have done. Yeah. Yeah, that is true because you've got a good set. Like, your Mukarib is astral, so that's the slave part of it. And then all you really need is a randomed astral on one of these guys for the matrix. Because if I remember right, the matrices are Earth 1, Astral 1. But the slave matrices are only Astral 1. So yeah, you absolutely can do disgusting things with this. Okay, cool. Thank you. It's nice to have somebody else fact check me because I'm not confident in anything I say in this game. I'm not gonna blind expand. I don't believe in it. That's a great way to lose starting armies. At least when I don't have an awake expander, then I'll go. But barring that, not gonna happen. But yes. Okay, I'm dealing with Pangea, Vanheim, Jotunheim, and Xibalba. Oh, that's great. That's a time. Though this is middle-aged Xibalba, so that's not cancer. I probably should have looked. I'm dealing with Nazca. That is cancer. But yeah, they've got interesting stuff, but nothing to really write home about. They do have blood, though, so that's that. Yeah, Jotunheim, Scalera. Man's concerning. I like playing as Man. I'm familiar with Man. The fact that, like, you have a lot of options with them, which is very nice. They have longbows. And again, they have nature communions because Spellslinger and high air and all of the disgusting stuff that goes with that. Yeah, you're not wrong. Granted, I still need to learn communions, but like they're high enough. Like that's the thing is like they're very good to communion, but even if you don't know how to communion or how communions work, like the crones, they're still high enough air on their own that you can still good mage without it. But yes, they are very good. I do still need to go back and learn communions. Communions is something I'm still not good with. Agartha is dangerous on this map, but it's what it be. The reason I say that is because this is one of the maps that actually has an entire underground section of the map, so they have a big area to expand into. Um, whereas they have to deal with, being on land everywhere else with like a couple caves. Pangea, which is not bad, not bad by any means, has blood, you know, has earth and nature, can be very strong. Um, Van and Jotunheim, I don't think I need to talk about because, they're Illwinter's favorites. Um, yeah, no, like that's the thing is I love longbows. I am one of those people where it's like, and it's my main holdup there too. This applies to why I have some experience with them and literally no experience with Vanheim. Um, I'm a very archer focused player. I love archers, and so I love like longbows with their 45 range attack every turn. I love massed archers, just as a personal preference. And so it's like if I run into things like, Vanheim or even, Middle Age Agartha to an extent that you don't really have a ranged option. Like they have hurlers, but range 6. It's not really a ranged unit, is it? Um, like I don't see a good ranged option. I'm out. Like this like you've got javelins. That's it. I'm out. Um, Although you do also have immortal supply bonus trampling boars, which is hilarious and meme worthy. But whatever. Um, Nazca. Nazca can be concerning because of all the death they have, and yeah, the fucking Royal Malakay, 850 gold, 340 upkeep. But my god. I started. I haven't kept up with it, but I did start watching that. Yeah, weeching that. Wow, I'm English today. I am the English. Yeah, but yeah, I've got a lot to worry about in this one. But no, I don't mind spoilers. I'm one of those people. I've never minded spoilers. I don't get why people get upset by spoilers. If I'm being perfectly honest. Um, Oh, that's a downside to these. I did not notice. I did not notice that. They are undisciplined. That's unfortunate. But they are skirmishers, so they don't take the morale penalty from being in the undisciplined formation. Alright, that's a bit of a bummer. Rip. So I'm going to have to set these guys pretty far forward then, because they are short bows, so they don't have that big a range. And they're undisciplined, so they won't hold if I tell them to hold. Yeah. No, a lot of... I don't get why there's so much like, oh, it's a human nation, so that's... No, I don't get that at all. Like, sure, giants are cool. Giants and goblins are cool. Um, I don't want to take that from anything. But like human nations work just fine. Masked archers can fuck over a lot of like I see a lot of people like, yeah, let's get the two-handers, but they're weak to arrows, just shit like that that can really screw them over. Um so hopefully that expansion works out for me. But yeah, no, it's I enjoy playing human nations. Again, the giant nations not Shinuyama, but giant nations. Okay, well I won because I have an unexpected event there. Hey, I got a random madman. Cool. Um, and a lot of magic sites because I have all magic sites visible. Nothing I didn't already have variety-wise though, so that's nice. Um, oh, what are you doing? I can't. Okay, he's just defending as insane. Cool. I I left it on 5, right? I left Strength of Independence on 5, right? Somebody fact check that, please. I'm very confused. Why there's something there's got to be something magical here or death scales or something. Like I'm very confused. 7 units, mainly commanders and militias. Yeah, they have the stat line for it. You're not, yeah. This isn't late age Avalon. Late age Avalon is weird. Well, not Avalon Man, but can't say Avalon because it's the cursed forest at that point. But like late age is like, let's give everything in this roster that isn't a longbowman. Let's give everything else a crossbow. That's infantry. Um, like tower guard, it's nice, but it could have a crossbow. Uh, Warden of Avalon could have a crossbow. But yeah, no, they're bodyguards. They're good proc base. Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's discussing, yeah, the Castellans and no, Castellans are the commanders. I think that's actually still the case here. Yeah, yeah, no, I think it is still just tower guard, which is solid infantry, solid protection, has a shield and a crossbow. Like I think that's what it is. It's like you take the middle age versions and you just add a crossbow of the wardens and tower guard, and that's what they are in late age. You are, yeah, no. Late Age Avalon is disgusting, and I love them. Man, sorry. Apparently, I'm going to keep making that mistake. Alright. I don't know if I want to keep getting these since they're undisciplined, but gonna get a couple more research monkeys. Now that I have one, let's go ahead and set, let's see, what's a good early point for conjuration goals? Let's go up to conjuration 4. Let's see, where's Scorching Wind is also 4. Okay. Okay, yeah, I believe that. Yeah. No, they do hit like a truck normally, so with a strength bless, yeah. Did you just go one strength of the earth, or I'll have to recheck myself. Cause I remember watching some of that, and the picking and like what am I gonna deal with? But yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people, Lucid's on it apparently, but I see a lot of people that are on the fence about Blood Surge, but I enjoy it personally when I have a blood chassis. So yeah, I'm gonna get a couple more of those, and then the question becomes, do I want to just get another Adite General for early expansion, or do I want to go ahead and jump to a John Amir? Yeah, because it is a nice stat boost, with the only real downside to it being you have to kill something first for it to take effect. But really, if your Sacreds aren't killing things, why are you getting Sacreds? I'm sorry, but there's very few, like, John Guard maybe you might get a defensive tanky bless on. But like most Sacreds are there for high kill. Like most Sacreds are along the lines of, the Warden, where they're using a great sword, where they hit like a truck. Like, Scalera's like them not so much, but they're magic, and I think they fly when blessed. Um, yeah, yeah, exactly. But and most Sacreds fit that mold. Wolmook, they're not great Sacreds, but they do already have magic damage built in and do still hit like a truck, 16 strength, 23 damage. Like, most Sacreds, you look on that line, these stats are good, and then of course, charge bonus on the first strike. So at least that first strike, you hit like a truck, you get the blood surge. It's very good for Pangea, yeah. Um, yeah, I don't blame you. They have a ranged attack if people are smart enough to tell them to fire first. They have a lance charge and hoof strikes. They do high damage on all of them. And then, yeah, since you do have some blood, you can go ahead and take a blood chassis thematically, and you can go ahead and get that blood surge on them. So after the charge bonus, combat speed and size, yep, half the strength, but that's another 7 charge bonus, like, and then you've got blood surge from there on. Yeah, and yeah, yep, berserk +3. Yeah, no, they are. Yeah, no, by and large, Sacreds for the most part, aside from, unless they're elfing for Sacreds, like, they hit like a truck. And so, Blood Surge is really good for those nations. Ulm, you don't give a shit. You'd never take Blood Surge on Ulm because they don't have units, they have mages. But yeah. Yeah, no. The Blood Surge I do take fairly frequently when I have that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, I can add 3 more. I apologize if this gets jarring, but this is basically how I do it. I try to keep them even across the board. I think we are going to go John Amir for the next one. Also, because I think I'm going to have enough troops to justify going Amir over Adite. Bright. No, I enjoy human nations. I enjoy them a lot. I'm not, again, I'm not great at the game, so like I don't dive in enough to be like, okay, so this is the meta when I'm watching stuff. It's like I just, I play things that thematically appeal to me. And it's part of why I'm like, I'll eventually learn these nations, but not today. Is also because I'm like, but I don't like. I learned relay. I learned I hate late age relay, but like because I like H.P. Lovecraft. That's where it starts and ends. I should actually be getting PD. I completely forgot to grab PD. Whoops. Oh hey, my capital is a wasteland, so I can do all those. That's cool. Yeah, I've got a couple research monkeys now. Yeah. No, I enjoy. Yeah, I can respect that. Like that's part of the problem for me. You won't see me play many shooters. You won't see me play many of a lot of games because I can't say I don't have a competitive bone in my body. I do, but I don't have many of them. It's just like I don't care enough. Like if somebody cares that much, I'm like, yeah, you can have it. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I see a lot because we'll take say Jotunheim. They're lacking in ranged options outside of mages, and yes, they do have Veti archers, but short bows aren't great. I'll just come out and say it. I'm aware I have short bows too, but like for me, I like ranged. I like what I like. And ranged massing archers can be very viable against sacreds. Like, crossbows would be a hell of a lot better in this situation, but, massed archers can work here because, they don't have shields. It's a great counter to sacreds and that sort of thing. Can be. Shouldn't say is, should say can be. You know, like, and because a lot of sacreds that go for the full truck hit, these do. Yeah, the Thrymes hurting that they've changed these two are good, but still hit like a truck because giants. But that's the thing. You get long spears used to be ridiculous to me. Long spears used to be the thing I spanned with these guys because length 4 for repelling. And they're really just a screen for my longbows anyway. That's how I played man, and I didn't regret it. Yep. Yeah, I know, which is a shame. Like, yeah, that's why now I actually start getting like Tower Guard and stuff, and Landless Knights if I can afford it. Actually, I probably can. Yeah, it's only like a 4. Yeah, okay, well, it's an 8. Yeah, no, 6. Okay, I can math. But yeah, it's like 6 more resources for I think a bit higher proc. Yeah, 3 higher proc, and I think the stats, and 1 more strength. Yeah. No, I would like to see that. Yeah, yeah, a bonus against large would be nice. That's what I think like we should see because I think part of the reason they nerfed repel is because if I'm not wrong, let's get Pangea to double check. Okay, yeah, lances are only length 3, so they're still good repel weapons if you keep them, which centaurs do. Unless it says can't be used. Yeah, because I know some that are like first strike only that they then... Okay, not them, I guess. Are you one? Yes, you are. So like these ones, like if they're the one use only ones, they can't be used for repelling. But yeah, that's true. And I haven't learned them enough to say for some of them. But yeah, like slash damage is good. But yeah, no, like because I feel like that's why they nerfed repelling is because like aside from your long spears, lances and like cavalry that kept lances would be repelling, which was not the repel intent. But yeah, like give long spears and like give things beyond a certain repel. Yeah, give things like like long spears and pikemen. Yeah, like a trait like that gives them bonuses to repel against cavalry or like larger units. Not necessarily. I don't know how I'd balance that though, because like part of me would be like, okay, make the repel based on size, but like a pike shouldn't be good against. Well, it should be good against a giant, but not like for that reason, I guess. But yeah, no, get like a repel versus cavalry, like a flat plus whatever to repelling larger creatures or something. And that would make them incredibly viable. I feel. But yeah, after the nerf, it's like now I just get tower guard. Now I just don't use. And so hopefully I have the strength to take this. I'm doing it because I need to circle back around and get my cap circle. But I saw easy expansion and I took it. Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. I tended to not anyway because I I archer focus more than I should. Especially Ulm, because Ulm has great two-handers that do meaty hits. But I tend to go like the shielded turtle plate infantry with their arbalests, and then just like hold defensively. Even though yes, they have battle axe, like the big flails, the big meaty hits where you can take things with an infantry line very easily. But yeah, nah, it's a very solid strat. But I arbalest. I even though they can only fire once every 3 rounds, but they got that 50 range and armor piercing damage, and I do love them. Even if all melee units hit like a truck and could carry me without them. Okay, good. Everything's going well so far. Ooh, Desert of Bones. It's always good to see. Yep, out here in the wastelands. This is why I like to browse the workshop for maps. Is because it's like it feels like on an average Dominions random map, you'll see like there'll be like a few wastelands and a few caves and like a few of all these areas, but then but it's like things like Agartha. You live in caves, like you need caves. Caves are kind of like your OG. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's like there's no reason to play Agartha because you don't have caves, or Shibalba, where you get a lot of extra things for caves, but there's maybe one cave on the map. Though Shibalba does get them in forests too, so there's that. But it's like you'll see like one cave, a couple wastelands. Like a lot of these areas don't get a lot, but then you go to like the workshop, and you'll still see maps people like painstakingly made where it's like, hey, there's this huge wasteland up north. There's a bunch of wastelands down here. Like there's a desert. There's an entire underground. And so it makes them more interesting to play and more viable in my eyes. So I regularly check the workshop just to see what's going on. If nothing else, I think we're going to go ahead and get one of those at this point. Just cause. Do I have anything really major for them to be casting yet? No, but they're still good mages. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I see them talk about a lot of the tools for it that I keep meaning to check out. I'm part of the Dominions Reddit too. And they're like, here's all these resources, and I'm like, I'll check these out one day, and then I don't. I imagine I'll check out those tools about the same day I actually I don't know, learn Archosophile. But yeah, Archosophile is a good nation. It's not That's one of those ones where, again, I'm an archer focus too much, and it is too much. It's not like well, there's nothing wrong with being archer focus. No, it's I'm at the point where it's like you don't have a bow somewhere in that lineup. I'm out. I will not touch you. Yeah, no. That's the thing is, Arco is a strong nation. I don't want to take that from them. They're one of the few that have reliable, regular access to healers, which is super nice. Um, and a way to deal with people that are just like, let's go ahead and spam afflictions. They're one of the few nations that don't care. They're like, no, you stop. Um, but you know, it's what it be. Um, yeah, I don't have much that's good for you to be cast. Oh, you can cast flight. I started with enchantment too. Okay. But yeah, bless yourself, I guess. Air shield. I could just do flight attack rear actually. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think only early age has that flying cav though, which is nice. Yeah, yeah, they have that. Asphodel has that too. But Asphodel's middle age. But yeah, no, it's the carrion collector or whatever it is. I don't think Pangea doesn't have it because Pangea doesn't have death. But yeah, Asphodel has it. I think those two are like the few that get it. There's not a lot of nations that have it. Yeah, these guys have reanimator priests, which is disgusting, but I don't think they have it. No, they don't, because they don't have nature. Yeah, it requires a nation with nature death cross paths to get that. I'm pretty sure. And there aren't a lot of those. I say that, but I know for a fact these guys don't get it. Xibalba has that cross path in the early age at least, and they don't get it. They have it again in the late age too, but yeah, it looks like they don't really have nature in, well, the ways do, but they're not guaranteed death. Um, yeah, Blood Nations set me off. I play every nation like an economy focused nation, which is directly at odds with Blood Nations, because with Blood Nations you don't want to. You want it because with Blood Nations you're burning your economy down for what you do. Um and I don't care for that. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because you do need to send all your blood searchers around to get your blood slaves, run back, and you're burning your province down while you're doing that. And then you need to be patrolling to keep the unrest down, and it's a big involved mechanic to make up for that strength. But it's like, yeah, no, I don't care for it. I don't care for it thematically. It is a pain in the ass, and that doesn't help. Um, but I like I play every nation whether or not they should be played this way. I play every nation like an economy nation. Like I have to worry about my scales. And it can be helpful. Like don't get me wrong, because of my doing that, I can crap out like million Nibean camel riders if I wanted to. Get a couple of sheiks on them and go to town. Which actually I'm going to start prepping for. Because that's not a bad idea. You know, running around with 60 stealthy horse archers, essentially. I imagine camels are a bit lower map move than cav, but well, combat speed 24 is not bad. They are light cavalry. At speed 24, yeah. So that's that's light cav speed. Not Knights of Avalon though, because Knights of Avalon are ridiculous. But like Knights of Man Heavy Cav combat speed 20. So yeah, they're actually pretty quick. Are they undisciplined? They're not undisciplined. A lot of pillagers are. So yeah, you could put groups of these on fire and keep distance, and you'd probably be fine. That's disgusting. All right. Well then. Yeah, the more I look at those camel riders, the more disgusting they look to me. uh, yeah, Dominions Enhanced actually makes Na'Ba a bit more disgusting, believe it or not. Because they don't screw with their power mages, but they also give you some foreign recruit units and mages, which are absolutely disgusting. Okay, so despite giving him some buffs, sending him to attack rear was not a good call. Good to know. Let's see what happened. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what happened, but let's double check. Because, yeah, he's got alright proc, but he's, yeah, once his glamour gets pierced, he's screwed with the iron vulnerability. He's got good health, but, like, not enough, I think. Yeah, so he blessed himself, so he's got his little fiery, shockery, swiftness buff. Yeah, I've got my archers, which would take create fire weapon, fire arrows really well if I had, thought to cast that. But, like, yeah. So he's got flight now. He's got air shield. Not that there were any ranged units here, but, he didn't kill him, because I set him to attack rear. So he should be coming down, yeah, here, and, yeah, it looks like he's just not a melee combatant, despite what his chassis would have you believe. Yeah, he just gets absolutely shivved down. He got shivved down by light infantry. Like, they didn't even get the chance to throw their javelins, just standard light infantry. Dropped him. And then my side routed first. Okay, so now we know. It does, but that's part of my experience with this game. Insanely unlucky, yeah, but it happens more often than you'd think. Well, at least he's here, so we can just finish that off anyway. But yeah, is it unlucky? Yes, but it happens, at least to me, more often than you'd think. That is not a star. Okay. Insane man doing insane things. But yeah, no, that's the thing, is it's unlucky, but for me, it's Tuesday. Like, I wish I could say I was joking about that, but I'm not. That's what happens to me in this game. Ooh, death gems. Nice. Yeah. It's why I'm like, I look at, like, when I do watch meta videos on thugging and whatnot, I think the iron weakness might have something to do with it, but I could be wrong about that. Yeah. That's why I look at things and they're like, yeah, things with glamour are great thug chassis, and I'm sure they are. I want to clarify, I'm not questioning that fact. But, like, when I go to use them, that is a common occurrence of what happens to me. It's just like, something happens and he's dead now. Like, every time. And I'm just like, alright, here we are. Now what? Alright, I'm screwed, now what? But it's just what it is. I have a good amount of summoning power, at least. Yeah, I could have been contacting Jin with him. Right, Jin are different from John. These are John, not Jin. Okay. John are like fancy fire spirits, if I remember right. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, once I get like mist form, he'd have been fine there. But yeah, well, we will have to do more testing on that and whatnot. But yeah, got my research base going. Got a million archers just hanging out over here now. And probably some of them made it back here too. But yeah. But it's gonna be worries when I get my next commander, which I should actually I do want one of those though. Because when I get to Conjuration 3, well 4. Did I go up to Conjuration 4? Yeah. So when I get up there, I want to be able to cast that. I like, and sure the upkeep's high, but it's still 21 research in the meanwhile. It's still a good bump. Not an efficient bump, but a good bump. That also happens to be good at melee. Yeah. Yeah. But that's why I'm always leery of thugging and why I go so hard on things that make forging super easy. Because it's like, I will not send SCs or thugs out without like a full set of gear, which is incredibly expensive on base game, and which is why I have mods to reduce forge costs. I hate it. I despise it because that kind of bad luck happens to me a lot. It's just it's what happens to me. I did not click the right thing. Oh, good. False Dominion. Hey, Dominion hit this early because that's what I needed. After losing a John. Okay, there's a area fort. Do I expect this army to win? No. You know what? No, we'll send you to pick up more troops, honestly. Is this a stall on my expansion? Yes, but it might be a necessary one. Oh, he was a random event down here. So I just got an insane man from the Forgotten City. Um, yeah. Welcome to the stream. And yeah, I probably will shift over to them. The reason I'm not right now is like the whole goal of these guys is just research. Um, right now, like I'm not going to be using them for anything but research. They're here for my early research monkeying. And so at that point, it's, one less priest level, which is irrelevant. So it's the same research for like 3/4 of the gold upkeep. So they're a more efficient research option. When it comes time for combats, yeah, and then, like even without the astral, Sahirs, like Sahir Astraling, um, yeah, welcome aboard. This is basically me learning them. I had a John Amir, his glamour got popped and he died near instantly. I don't have good buff spells yet, so that's to be expected, I suppose. And so right now my early expansion's taking a hit, but I've got my cap circle. So that's, first objective complete. We got a bit of stuff. But yeah, no, the insane guy was from a random event on like turn 2 when I took that place. Yep. That's what I did. Cap, yep. Yeah, I think I will end up doing that once I get a couple more forts. Yeah, no, the Malika is, and my first one is a nature random. But yeah, no, the Malika is disgustingly good. Um, 23 research too, which is nice. Right, because I have magic scales too, and they have magic power. So, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I did. What does Nature 1 do, though? Somebody hook me up as somebody who plays this game more than me. Yes, the Hori I will need. I did see that. I did see that I'll need them on, like, Conjuration. That's what, 5, 6, 6. Yeah, for the Hori. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll have that. Do want a few levels of that. Eventually I want to bump construction up too, but eventually I want all magic. Funny how that works. Yeah. Okay. So is that how communions work? That's something I don't understand. Do communion slaves, when it says it bumps the paths up, like for example, 2 slaves bumps it up by 1, 4 by 2, 8 by 3, so on and so forth. Does it bump all of the communion masters' paths, or just the ones the slaves have? What I mean by that question is like, so for example, if I got a bunch of Caribs on here, like if I had a bunch of these with slave matrices, and then like Amalika with the okay, it is all paths. Okay, cool. Thank you. I've seen some where it didn't seem to, but that might be a Dominion's enhanced feature, which is currently off. So hey, actually, I don't need you to go all the way that far out for the troops. You can just stay here. Pick up, I don't know, bunch of guys here. $30. And you know what? Yeah. Yeah, I know they take extra fatigue for spells that aren't theirs, for lack of a better way to put it. That part I was aware of. That part specifically, not everything. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked the question. But let's go ahead and bump this up to 40 each on this, and then yep, this one, yep, very good. Yeah, and you can cast personal region on. Yep, yeah, I knew about the enchantment spread. Yeah, I'm familiar with turbo communions, but yeah. Yeah, that's right, and they do have the giant health, so they regen health faster. That's a valid consideration there too. See, I'll set you guys just on fire and keep distance. Alright. And I think we'll just send you north. Yeah. Yeah, that is true, because, yeah, let's look at that Mukarib health, yeah. 21 health, so even at 10% regen. Well, is personal regen 10 or 20? I know some of the spells are, not spells, items are 10, but, which one is that under? Is that Thaumaturgy or enchantment? Yeah. Regen. Okay, it doesn't say offhand. Okay, personal regen is 10. Alright. But yeah, that's still 2 health, at least, per. So that's viable there. Yep, thank you. And I do already have it because that was one of my randoms. I randomed enchantment 2. Enchantment 2, Thaumaturgy 1, Construction 1. These were my randoms. And Conjuration 1. I researched Conjuration 2, though. That's one thing I like, that magic scales do actually impact your random research, which is nice, how much research you start with. That's a nice touch. But yeah, no, I got scales. I did take some misfortune. And I did take some misfortune with the Mukaribs in mind. Like, I'll get a couple of those. But, next. But, yeah, no blood. Yeah, for me, this is my first play as Na'Ba. Um, so I just kind of like want to experiment and like see what they have. Like I'm curious about Jinns. I'm curious about Jinn warriors. I want to screw with that. Do I have national blood summons? You're right, I do. Yeah. That is the one thing I forgot to look. That's on me. Um, yeah, I did not grab blood because I didn't look at that. All right, that is on me. Thank you. Did they? Yeah, they must have added all 3 then. I remember this was based on a. This used to be a mod nation for the longest time. Was a ROM, but yeah, yeah, yeah. But I did kind of screw myself because my pretender, who doesn't exist yet, but is around. I did not take blood on it, so that I missed that. That's my bad. I'm so used to a dichotomy there, where either you have blood and nothing else, or you don't. That's on me. It's true. as well for the ability to get in there later. I just hate inefficiency. And so if I had known, I would have taken blood on my pretender, so I could at least get a blood economy going. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's all just different ways to play. Nothing is inherently wrong. One might be the meta, but so what? Like, yeah. You've got glamour, you've got, minor bless, and you're fine. Like, you've got glamour, you've got invisible, mage, BS. You got a lot of stuff to work with. You've got a lot of tools in the toolkit as Na'Ba, it looks like, which is good. You've got air and fire. Okay. Rip, but okay. Yeah, which this one is. In fairness, that's a fair concern there. Yeah. All right. All right. Now I have one sneaky group with ridiculous map move. Yeah, Marauders. Yeah, Malika has obfusification. Again, these disgusting individual. They're old, which is kind of a bummer. Though it looks like it's just kind of bad luck on the age range. Yeah, because it's age range 44 was bad luck. Ein Minuten. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, no, Sheikah are disgusting. Because they're stealthy, as are Camel Riders. The Sheikah start with 1 to 3 falcons. John can thug. No, they can. I believe that. Stormworm knows why I'm laughing at that, though. I got a John early. I had it bless itself. I have a minor bless. It's not a fantastic bless to write about, but gave itself like air shield in flight, had attack rear, and it died immediately. Yeah, yeah, that was rough. But that happens to me more often than not when I try to do any kind of thuggery. I could just get one. A couple of those, that. Yeah, pretty much. And then he just died immediately because while it's not as extreme as them, they do have iron vulnerability, meaning damage +1 at least from things like spears. And yeah, once the glamour pops, if you haven't geared or really buffed them, which I had not, in fairness, that is part of the problem and should be acknowledged. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, no, mine is like, I don't remember what I grabbed offhand. It's swiftness, attack skill, morale, and minor shock resistance, I think was the one I had. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, a full third of these, once I get the alteration on them, yeah, mist form. Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting that's a thing. Thank you. Yeah, I took 1 point of superior morale, attack skill, shock resistance, and then swiftness is where the extra stuff is coming from in there. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I don't check mercenaries as much as I should. I never win mercenaries. Like, comms outbid me every time, so I just go whatever and ignore them. But that does not mean that's something I should be doing. Okay. I've just burned a ton of recruitment points on those. Because that can just be a genuinely uncomfortable army. That's an interesting... Yeah, I hadn't considered that on a mage commander with death. Yeah. So goats, death, and blood is what I'm seeing. Well, this isn't a multiplayer game also, so I don't think I have to worry too much about that. Yeah. Which it might, because I do have a mod, as I'm sure you can probably figure out. Okay, but yeah, I have a mod on that makes, it's called Visual Basic, that makes all sites visible, basically, with some exceptions. But, which is why there's a Citadel over here, is it's a site thing. It makes all those proc immediately. But, so if I run into any damned merchants or forgotten villages, then I'll have some blood income. But prior to that, I probably will not, unless Goat shows up, but I doubt it. But yeah. And a lot of you guys missed it, but there was a lot of rambling at the beginning. I've been streaming for a little over 2 hours now. It's just a lot of rambling at the start about what mods I'm using, how they affect the balance, and then this. Starting Na'Ba, finally. But yeah, this will probably go up on YouTube. Same username as this, but... Really? Okay. Yeah, Na'Ba is one of them. Okay, well that tells me who won there. Yeah. Well. Oh well. Goodbye, Caster. Hopefully I get you back at some point. I will, because I don't believe in Bordigor. And that's why when I'm playing single player, I didn't this time, but I have a tendency to bump province defense up to like 40. Because that's how I deal with that. Yeah. Actually. Yeah, this is how disgusting these guys are. I can sneak them all the way down here. Like, I can sneak 2 provinces in with 60 camel boys and this man. Like, I have a feeling in the right hands, which to clarify are not mine. That's good to know. That part I didn't know. I tend to literally just do 40 so that no matter what, like, especially when I'm taking Misfortune, like, this is typically enough, barring maybe that one. Let's double check what I'm dealing with there. Yeah, like, this, maybe not, but, like, most encounters, random events you get, like, and then this asshole who is scripted Fire Commander, if I remember correctly. I do not. Yeah. Yeah, bogus the Troll Archer. But yeah, 40, like, aside from maybe that event, 40 province defense is typically enough to deal with anything if you have misfortune scales. But yeah, okay. Actually, the John have enough leadership. I can do this. Yeah.
That requires me to kill them, though. So let's see. Let's do south. As to this point, flying shield, because this one actually earth randomed. Obviously not enough for earth power or anything, because it's just our one, but flying shield, air shield. Windrunner. Flight. I don't have mist form yet, so I'm not going to try to have him attack rear. Yes, I am going to puss out after last time. And we're actually going to go secure that. And apparently the only way through there, despite the fact that that is crossable right now, or at least the fastest way there, apparently, is to go here, then, okay, no, so that's mountained, and the heat hasn't hit yet, so I can't cross. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Is it late summer? No, it's early spring. That would be why. It's probably by the time it kicks over, I should be able to cross. But, yeah. Alright. Let's see if this army is enough to take that back. Probably not, but who knows. Because if I remember right, one of them is scripted to target... Oh, somebody's calling their god already? Yikes. Cool, we won. Got some of them at least. Didn't see any items picked up though. Lost a lot of units. Yep. Yep. True shot longbow and boots of quickness. Oh, that's disgusting. Yep. That troll mage has the ice pebble staff and braces of protection. He's got a wraith sword and greenstone armor, which is nice. He's got a rune smasher, rainbow armor, and braces of protection. And yeah, because the it's not what I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see the falcon. It's not him. Yeah. There's these little things that don't do much, but you know. You get them for free sometimes when you have these, which is in and of itself disgusting. Yeah, holy shit. Did I get any of the items, though? No. I killed 3 of them, no items. Well then. Oh no, we lost. That explains it. I didn't expect us to lose when my commander was still alive. We did kill 3 of them, meaning their items have probably been spread about. And we didn't kill the troll archer, which was the biggest one I wanted dead. But we did get both of the mages. So that's a thing. Yeah, now we can cross. Now we can get this, which is important because that's our way into the underground. Or a way, I should say. Just hook you up. Alright, you're still alive. That means I can do this. And back you go. Actually, given what's left, I might want to set them on hold and attack rear. Hold so they at least get some arrows off. You know what? No, just attack rear for this one. Because if we can get that troll archer, I feel like we'll be in good shape. Because we got the mages, and I think that's it. Yeah. No, we did get the Dark Knight. So yeah, it's just the Troll Archer and Raider. Which is a problem, because they have shit tons of health and regen. And good protection. So that's going to be a problem. Plus, I already killed the dark. I only killed some of them, didn't get all of them, meaning some of those items are probably going to be lost. Arena. Got my hopes up for a hot second there when I saw that icon. It's like the third arena I found, though. Yeah. Which isn't bad. I mean, it's money. But... well... this is my start. This is what I get. This is what I get for taking misfortune scales and not throwing mookaribs everywhere. That is on me. But I don't want to throw them everywhere because I need them in places with labs to do research. Balhaman. Was not expecting a Carthaginian god reference, but here we are. I don't know why this is Dominions, a game literally about gods, but you know, details. Anyway, this is a nice start. I might stream more of this. I might do might turn this into a YouTube series from here, since, as I said, this is going to go up on YouTube. It's the same username as this, Nightcloak27. But this is the start, and I'm going to call the stream here, because it's been 2.5 hours, and I'm hungry. So, yeah, I know, right? I don't know. I mean, he's probably going to be fine, unless misfortune kills him. But yeah, that's if he's, you know, if he comes back, the problem is he's insane 50. It's 50-50. Does attack with a cod though for 8 damage. No, but if he stays sane enough, I'll use him as a fort builder. Like I could use one there, but anyway, folks, what is this? Okay, nice. I will talk to you guys next time. Bye bye. You too, man.